Horror Coast to Coast is a movie review podcast featuring strong language, horror film spoilers, and discussions of violence, gore, and disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Horror Coast to Coast.
Welcome to Horror Coast to Coast, where we review horror movies from opposite sides of the continental U.S. From a collapsed mine in Massachusetts, I'm Brian.
And absolutely coming back to get my revenge on assholes that drove away and left me for dead, I'm Michelle.
This week we watched My Bloody Valentine 3D from 2009, directed by Patrick Lussier.
10 years after a Valentine's Day tragedy claimed the lives of 5 minors, Harry Warden returns for a vengeful massacre among teen sweethearts. That's not what the movie's about.
Well, it's a red herring.
Yeah, it is. But here, I'll give you the other one because also know what the movie's about, but kind of more accurate. I don't know. It's been 10 years since a string of murders plagued a small town, but when one of the survivors returns home, he discovers a familiar dread. So, I don't know. That was also kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I also continue to be perplexed as to why these movies are called My Bloody Valentine. Like, Valentine's Day is like the tiniest thread going through this movie.
Well, they literally have bloody Valentines, so...
I get it, but...
Yeah, the day itself doesn't really play any role.
And it's kind of random. It's consistent, but it's random. It's like, why Valentine's Day? Why not, I don't know, 4th of July, my bloody 4th of July. Like, who, you know what I mean? It's just like they picked a thing and I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be a real cohesion around that particular theme.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right, so we start the movie with like this newspaper type, like it's like a newspaper in motion.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's like a flurry of newspaper articles flying across the screen at us. It's
like a newspaper in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah,
where it's like alive.
where it's like flying. Yeah, exactly. And then we get voiceovers explaining a backstory, which I actually had to watch twice. But I kind of got what was happening.
Yeah, they basically say that because Jensen Ackles' character Tom fucked something up, there was a collapse, and then Harry Warden murdered all the people trapped in the collapsed mine with him to like save oxygen, and he was the only survivor. So that's basically what we get from the floating newspapers.
Right. And the scene that they sort of play after that is Harry down in the mines, and it's almost as if they were trying to make it seem like the townspeople had jumped to conclusions, because it looked like they were gonna show us something else, like that's what they think happened, but really what happened was a series of events that led to all of them just dying. But they did definitively establish that he's the one who killed them, because there's one of the articles that's like they were killed by pickaxes, every single one of them. So if the medical examiner determined that, then that's how they died.
Yep. So then after all that, we get a scene where Harry Warden's in the hospital and he wakes up, and then it like cuts to the police showing up and everyone's been murdered. There's just blood everywhere.
Yeah, because he isn't handcuffed to the bed, which is weird because he is the suspect in this crime and he's been in a coma for a year. So why isn't he handcuffed to the bed? I don't know. Maybe it was like we were handcuffing him, but we figured it was just for nothing because he's going to wake. He's in a coma and he's not going to wake up.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
Right. The worst that could happen is he could rip somebody literally in half.
Yeah. Yeah, guy is ripped in half.
There's just a half of a dead body on the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He goes on a rampage through the hospital, apparently.
And then another woman's had her chest cut open and her heart is in a box of chocolates.
Yeah. Which
as you do.
also kind of made me wonder, when does he have the time to do this? This feels like a real time-consuming act.
Where did he get the box of chocolates? Because he just woke up, and then the cops probably didn't take that long to get
Exactly.
there. So, like,
And also, what is he using to rip these people's hearts out? They're not like carved out. Is he plunging his fingers deep into their chest and ripping it out with his bare hands? Because it's very weird how these hearts are getting like torn out. It's very like
I imagined it was with like a big old knife because their whole chest is cut open.
yeah, I guess. Weird. And we get no motivation for this. We get no explanation as to why the original murders happened. And then he just disappears?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we know the first murders happened because he was trapped with them and he didn't want them taking up the oxygen. So there's no motivation for him to then go on a hospital murder spree.
And I don't even know if that's
not consistent.
And I don't even know if that's the real explanation. It was just one of the theories that was quoted in those flying newspapers. Like the sheriff is quoted at, that bastard just didn't want to share his oxygen, right? So it was like not an actual explanation. It was just something that was floating around, which is not a terrible explanation, right? That could really be it if it gets down to we're all stuck here, and if I'm gonna survive, you guys can't be around. Like it makes sense, but then I don't know, maybe the experience of having had to do that kind of pushes him over the edge or something.
Yeah,
but I was immediately thrown by the fact there's a half of a dead body on the bed, like shorn straight through the middle.
Yeah,
with no intestines spilling out or everything. This is a clean cut. So dumb.
and we meet the sheriff, who's played by Tom Atkins.
Yeah. And his sidekick, who I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know who his sidekick was. But then we cut to a abandoned mine party.
Yeah.
With all these like 30-year-olds playing teenagers.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even realize that I didn't realize that they were supposed to be that young until until the next scene. And then I was like, oh, they're supposed to be teenagers in that scene. I just thought they were like college kids. I thought they were like college kids partying or whatever. But yeah, they're supposed to be teenagers, and that does kind of, in retrospect, feel kind of weird. But we have Kerr Smith, who ordinarily I love, and he's waiting with his girlfriend Irene, except he doesn't really want to wait. She's like, we gotta wait for Sarah and Tom, and he's like, why? I don't fucking like him. And the implication that's never actually confirmed in the movie, the implication is that he blames Tom for that mine collapse, and he's mad at him for that, and maybe someone he knew or was related to died or something. But he unlike Tom.
Yeah, and basically we learn later that apparently no one really likes Tom for that reason. Like all the miners pretty much hate Tom because they all blame him for that.
Right.
And they all think he's the heir to the mine. They think he's like a spoiled little rich kid who had no business being down there. Yeah. So that's probably the attitude that Axel's carrying as well.
Right. And unfortunately, I think for Jensen Ackles, that didn't really come across. In the first scene, he feels like he's a very, very mild-mannered character. He'd be just reluctant to go back to the scene where the collapse happened. But there's nothing that is... He doesn't read like spoiled rich kid. He doesn't read like my daddy owns the town, He just reads as a guy that maybe feels a little guilty about what happened and doesn't necessarily want to be there, but his friends are dragging him in. So, I mean, not terrible, but I really didn't, until you just said that, I didn't make the connection that he's supposed to be kind of a spoiled rich kid.
Yeah. So inside this mine, basically, they start partying, and then
that's it.
Yeah, someone pops out and like scares. Is it Sarah he scares?
I think so, yeah.
And he's like, haha, what did you think I was, Harry Warden?
Yeah.
And then he gets a pickaxe in the back of his head, and his eye comes flying at the screen in what is meant to be a 3D effect.
Yeah,
I assume you didn't watch it in 3D either.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, because when I watched it on
Was
Plex,
it good?
it was weird. I was not sure why that was happening until I realized, oh, this is an actual thing they're trying to do. I thought it was like a production choice. So I was like, why would they make that fly at the screen? I kept I think I wrote it down a few times. Another thing just randomly flying at the screen. I don't understand this. Until at the
Yeah.
very end, I was like, oh, it was supposed to be in 3D. It's a very weird experience when you're not expecting it and don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 3 is just like that too. There's like yo-yos flying at the screen and eyeballs, and it's so weird to watch these movies without 3D.
Yeah. Is that even a thing anymore? Do movies
I don't
show in
know
3D?
how you watch a 3D movie anymore.
Well, you used to wear those glasses, right?
Yeah.
The glasses with the one red lens and the one blue lens. I literally have never done this, but I've seen them.
Those were like the older ones, and then they came out with better ones that were just like almost like sunglasses.
Okay. Yeah, I may have found a few, like inherited a few as a kid and could never use them because they're for the movie theater. So I've never experienced the movie in 3D, and maybe had I the glasses, it would have been wilder than it was. But okay, I wrote here, oh shit, we hit the ground running. Like, we don't even get a chance to inhale the fumes coming out of this mine before someone gets a pickaxe through his head straight to his eyeball. Like, it's intense.
We're like 9 kills in already.
Oh yeah, and then they look around and the partiers are already dead. And I'm like, wow, he's already been here for a while, just picking these little jerks off. I was like, oh dang, we're in the middle of it. They didn't realize they were walking into a massacre, but there they go.
Yeah, and then some like nerdy kid is running and he hits his head on a low-hanging board.
Yeah.
And it just takes him out, and then he gets a pickaxe to the face.
Oh my gosh, and that kid walks in and he's like, Jason? And I wrote down, Jason Voorhees maybe, but that's not your friend. Because he's standing at the end of like this corridor and he's got the miner's suit on with the light helmet and everything, like the full getup. And the kid's like squinting his eyes trying to see. And I'm like, what are you trying to look at? You know what's in front of you. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't see the dead bodies. But that's also kind of begging the question, how are all these people dead and nobody knows? They're supposed to be in the mine. They're supposed to be in the mine partying. Wouldn't you wouldn't you wonder what was going on when the music turned off or the voices died down? Like, how do they not know?
This would make a lot more sense if the party was going hard. Like, there were like strobe lights and smoke machines and really loud music. And then it would make sense that he got away with all this. But yeah, this party is like dull.
It's dull and low key.
There's been like a dozen murders and no one noticed.
Nobody noticed.
Just now.
Yeah. I was like, I don't really understand how you guys didn't realize that. I get how I didn't realize that because I'm a dumb movie watcher. But you guys are in the thick of it. You should have been aware, like, hey, Tiffany hasn't said anything in a while and I heard her loud ass like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. And then a girl gets her head like cut in half with a shovel.
Ugh, oh
in
my
a really
God.
terrible CG effect where it looks like it's just like floating around on the shovel.
Yeah. It was just a lot of the kills in this movie I thought were kind of like unsavory is the only thing I could think of. I was like, I don't know. I get gore and I get gruesome, but there's just something about these kills that are really getting to me. But yeah, so the one thing I wrote and I was like, you know something, I think I'm having an issue already. We know nothing about these characters, so now I'm obviously going to start looking at this as though, okay, this is just like a random routine slasher movie, and so we're going to just follow the movie cues to find out who's important, to find out like who we should be paying attention to. But we're not really given a reason to care about them. So then at this point for me, it just comes down to the actors, like who I know, who I like. And I'm just following Jensen Ackles and Kerr Smith because I'm like, okay, what is he doing now? And what is this guy doing now? Because there's no other motivation for me here. Like I gave no shits about Sarah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wrote that down early. And then the thing that happens that I feel like is the most overlooked part of the movie.
Oh, the part where the three friends just leave Tom behind because he like tripped, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, peace," and then they drive off.
Yeah.
Well, Harry is in hot pursuit.
Yeah. So Harry comes out at them, and Axel, Kerr Smith's character, he trips and falls, and Sarah hesitates to help him. And he gets caught, and she comes in after the fact and like saves him. But the way she hesitated to help him, I was like, you're kind of a shitty person. And then the three of them get in the car, and at the very last second, I thought, he's not going to put it in reverse. He's going to put it in drive, and he's going to run him over to save that guy over there. But no, he hates this man through and through. He puts that shit in reverse and is like, peace, bye, Felicia, your ass is dead. And he looks him in the face.
Yeah.
He looks him in the face when he does it. It was brutal. It was cold-hearted.
Yep. So then Harry chases Tom back into the mine, and he's right about to kill him when the cops show up and like shoot him a bunch of times, and he runs off.
Yeah. And Tom is left there with like a blood spatter on his face, and he looks hella traumatized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he gives the traumatized face.
And then that is it of this part of the story, because our next card says 10 years later. 10 fucking years later. I was like, wait, what? Holy crap. Flash forward. And I was like, wait a minute. You're flashing forward. Why? These people are going to be like 40.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the point of doing this.
Well, I think it's just to establish that he's been gone for so long and she's moved on with her life, and this, it's a whole like Castaway thing. Like Helen Hunt is remarried and there's no hope for them again, but she still loves him,
Yeah.
But I think that was what it was for.
No one has aged a day in this 10 years.
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, if they were really like 18 or 19, there's no real difference between like a 17, 18, 9-year-old and a 27, 28, 29-year-old. Like, some people can age real hard, but there are definitely people who look literally the same.
I feel like a good percent of people in that time frame go from looking like a child to looking like an adult, especially men. Like, you'll see like an 18-year-old, and then you'll see the same person and they're like jacked and they have a huge beard and their hands are all worn because they do manual labor. It's like not even the same person.
Well, that's why they had...
And this is a mining town.
I know. They should be rough. But, that's why they had Kerr Smith grow a beard. It's 10 years later.
Yeah.
You're rugged now.
Yeah, but they had him grow a 17-year-old dirt stash, not an actual beard.
Hey, maybe that was what he was capable of, because the actor at the time was probably like 28. But still, I really don't know if I put too much emphasis on that, because I'm like, yeah, whatever. Some people, I know a lot of people who looked exactly the same between 18 and 28. And yeah, you're right though, that it's a mining town, and so these people had hard lives, and probably those years should have accumulated a little bit more. But Axel had the cushiony sheriff's job, so he wasn't doing hard labor. And then Tom just straight up left town. So he escaped that life completely. Probably lived on his dad's money for a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So it does make sense to some degree.
So Axel's the sheriff now, and he just feels way too young to be a sheriff.
Yeah, he does.
Because he looks like he's like 23.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the hell is this guy a sheriff? Why did Tom Atkins retire?
Yeah, but at the same time, that felt very small town. It felt very like, okay, there's nobody else for the job. And Tom Atkins, who is 90 now, has been doing this job since he was 20, and now he's like 106. So he's like, I'm ready to retire. Please let me go. And there's the only person that can take it is like, the senior deputy or whatever. And it happens to be Axel at the time. Like, I get it. It felt very small town, like no one else. It's one of those things where, if you go back to Pumpkinhead, where the doctor was the coroner and the barber and the dentist. It felt like it was kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is super young and he's married to Sarah. And of course, he's cheating on her. And you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah, and he just like has like a love shack.
Well,
like, does Sarah know this cabin exists?
so she does because it's his dad's cabin. And later in the movie, he's like, go to my dad's cabin. And she knows exactly where to go. She knows where the key is hidden. This is accessible to her. But she probably doesn't go there often. So he's like, oh, I can have some bitches there and she won't know. Which she obviously knows.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah. And he's cheating on her with a person who works at the grocery store that she owns. I was like, dang.
Yeah. And she looks like she's like 18.
She looks young. And
Tops.
also, she is hella shady. That girl, Megan.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't trust her at all. And that expression, not trusting someone as far as I can throw them, like, she's a waif. I could hurl her across a football field, but I don't fucking trust her. She, especially when she's like, guess what? I'm pregnant. And she's all happy about it. And I'm like, dude, he has a child with somebody else already. What do you think? What are the odds you think he's going to leave his current child for you and your unborn baby? The kind of man that cheats on their wife with a waif that works at a grocery store is not leaving his wife for you. Like, fuck what the hell? It was wild. I was like, this is a lot of drama for the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Tom comes back looking even more like Dean than ever. Because in the beginning of the movie, he's like dressed like younger. He's in lighter clothes. He's wearing a hat. He's clean shaven. He's speaking softer and all that stuff. And now he comes back. He's got the black coat on. He's got the hood underneath it. I was like, he's just Dean. Did he just dip into here after like a season 4 filming?
Absolutely.
because I was like, wait, why is he like full on dressed like Dean? It was crazy.
You know, he did this movie just because he's like, can I do this just like Dean Winchester without changing anything? Then I'll take it.
So I meant to look it up and I didn't. I was wondering if this movie happened during the writer's strike, because one of the seasons
that would explain the writing.
I mean, yeah, but one of the seasons of Supernatural was cut short because of the writer's strike.
Oh yeah.
And I was wondering if maybe this was what he did in the meantime. I didn't bother to look it up though. I was just sort of curious.
Well, maybe because Jared Padalecki was in Friday the 13th the same year.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's exactly what happened. That they were like, you know what? We got some time to kill.
We've got time and teenagers to kill.
Yeah, time and teenagers to kill while the writers work out their union woes. But yeah. So Tom is here and he's going to visit Ben, who is angry with him for selling the mine, which he has now inherited since his father's passed away. His father, we never see.
Yeah. And his reason for selling the mine is because it's outdated, which is like, is that because he feels guilty about like the accident and he doesn't want people to die, or is it just that the story needs him to want to sell the mine so everyone can hate him?
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like. I mean, I think an easier excuse would have been, I haven't lived in this town in a long time, and I have no connection to this anymore. And so you feel like this is a family venture that has been passed down for years and years, generation after generation, but I don't feel that connection. And so I'll sell it to you if you have the money to buy it from me, but you don't. So I found someone who does, and now I don't have to deal with it. And sorry, not sorry, but I haven't been in this community in 10 years. I think that's a much easier explanation than what he said.
Yeah, because I don't know why he's expected to like run a mine because he inherited it. Like it's a big commitment.
Right.
You can't just like force people to do that, and everyone just they all hate him because of it, I guess.
And seeing as how the last time he was in charge of the mine, the collapse happened.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a bit of guilt, like you were saying. But yeah, everyone hates him. But I was confused because he was selling the mine and there was no discussion as to whether the new mine owners were shutting it down. There was nothing insinuating that at all. So I'm like, what does it fucking matter if he sells the mine? If somebody who's more experienced than him comes in and then runs it, what does it matter? But anyhow, it's small town stuff I don't understand.
And an easy fix would just be like, have it be they're gonna sell it to like a big corporation who's gonna change everything and ruin their small town life.
Right.
But they don't really go into any more detail. He's just like, yeah, it was outdated when I was a kid, and that's his whole reason.
Yeah. Which is continuing the thread of big, vague explanation plopped into a scene and then move on.
Yeah. So then he checks into a hotel, and I'm not sure why, because doesn't he have like property in this town?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. He probably has a house.
Like, he has nowhere to stay. He's in a seedy motel.
You're right.
Taking his psych meds
Wow.
for no apparent reason.
I was going to say he checks into the hotel because Ben tells him the papers aren't getting signed until Monday, and that makes sense. But now that you mention it, he probably has a house. Yeah, why the fuck does he do that? And puts himself at the scene of the crime.
Well, he doesn't know it's going to be a crime yet.
That's true.
But he does check into the seedy motel and take some psych meds, and for reasons that are unclear. I guess he doesn't have anywhere else to stay.
Yeah.
And then in the next room, what's her name?
Irene. Yeah, in the next room we have Irene.
Irene is fucking some trucker in like the most gratuitous sex scene I've ever seen in a slasher. It goes on for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Then it's revealed that he was secretly recording it.
Yeah.
And she's pissed.
That was awkward.
And she's like, I ain't no whore. He just throws money at her. He's like, you are now.
And then he leaves.
And then she comes with a gun, still butt naked, and says she's gonna kill him if he doesn't give her the tape.
And then he's like, there ain't no bullets in that gun. So she
throws it directly at his face in the best fucking throw. It
was so
ever.
good. She fucking pistol whips him. She pistol whips him from 40 feet away. It was amazing. At this point, I was like, all right, I'm Team Irene right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then this guy, whose name I remember was Frank, he opens the cabin door of his truck and gets an axe to the middle of his bald head.
Yeah.
Which, so gross.
It's honestly a mercy kill, though, because he must have been dying of embarrassment getting that fucking gun directly to the face by a butt-naked woman.
And she's standing in the middle of the parking lot, too. Totally naked. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The fact that she fucking pistol whips him at a distance had me rolling. But yeah. So I am Team Irene until she starts just like frantically running around naked. And then my opinion of Irene plummeted when she watches that hotel manager get killed without warning her. I was like, dude, she's about to go in the closet. You know he's hiding there. Jump out, grab her, and run. But no, she just stays there and watches her walk up to the closet. That poor lady just looking for her dog. That poor lady comes in looking for her dog.
She was naked. She didn't want to come out naked.
Okay. Yeah, she remains naked for the rest of her time in this film. So I don't know if that's a reason.
Well, she doesn't have much longer because after the hotel manager gets like uppercutted with the pickaxe and like raised to the ceiling.
Oh gosh. It was another gruesome, unnecessary, it was a lot.
Yeah. Then Irene's behind like, what is it, like a cage or something?
No, it's the frame of the bed. So it's got like the springs, and it's one of those beds where it's just like the frame has the springs on it and then you just put the mattress on top. And so he pulls the mattress off and she's laying there under the springs and she pulls it up against the wall and cages herself in. At this point though, Irene is lasting longer than anyone so far in the movie. So I'm like, maybe she's actually going to survive.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, because he takes like several swings and somehow
And he
this
misses.
bed frame is protecting her.
Yeah.
And then we just like get a blood splatter
On
off
the
screen,
wall.
like terrible CG blood on the wall. And it's like, this is the most bullshit kill after that.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best sequences, if not the best sequence in the movie, was this whole thing from her pistol whip to this. And then the kill just sucks.
Yeah. I actually wrote that. I was like, this could have been really compelling. Maybe if she wasn't naked, but then also if she wasn't a total idiot, but then also if she still survived.
At first, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so gratuitous
Yeah.
that she's butt naked." But then once she throws the pistol at him, I'm like, "This is hilarious."
Yeah.
Like it comes around because it's been so long that it's just comical. Like she's been naked for like 20 minutes off screen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So then Tom goes to see Sarah at the grocery store. And this is precisely the moment when I started to hate Sarah.
Yeah, so I forget what she does in the scene. I know she says she married Axel. She explains that.
Yeah, when he shows up at the grocery store, that is literally the first time she's seen him in 10 years. So you get her reaction to, "Oh my god, you're alive," all that shit. But then she starts laying the guilt on him. "Where did you go? You've been gone all these years. I thought you were dead." And like, okay.
Well, you left him for
Yeah,
dead.
the fuck did you think he was when you drove off and left him in the mine? You obviously thought he was dead then. So I'm guessing, I can only guess, that there is some time period that they skipped over, not just the 10 years, but there's some thing that happened where after he was like traumatized, where he goes back to the town and they all realize he didn't die. And then he leaves after that. But even still, like, I thought you guys were my friends and you just fucking left me. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know why he never says that. He never says it.
Yeah, he never says like anything.
I know.
There's always things he should be saying and he just doesn't.
Yeah. He really could stand to give them some explanations. But then he goes to the bar and he's like, "You guys are still blaming me for stuff that happened 10 years. This wasn't my fault." And so I'm like, okay, that's a start. And then he gets clocked by an old man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And meanwhile, Axel found the VHS of the sex tape, which also had her running into the hotel to get murdered.
Yeah.
And they also found Tom's name in the registry. So now, as if he wasn't just gonna suspect Tom because he hates him, now he's his number one suspect.
Yeah. And then they catch Tom walking past their room because he goes to check into the hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they also found Irene's heart in a box.
Oh, that's right. Ugh.
Oh, so then in the mine, that old man who had attacked Tom, his name is Red, is in the mine with Tom. And then Harry Warden shows up and like locks Tom in a cage. And then it's really weird the way this is shot because he like walks away and it looks like he walked really far away. And then Red's like on the phone and he like turns around and then we cut back to Tom and it's like he's like 2 feet away.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure how far he was supposed to be at this point. But yeah, then he just murders Red. Red puts up a bit of a fight.
Yeah.
And then he's like swinging the axe and he kicks it back into Red's face. And he dies.
Yeah, that was.
And then he just like impales him a bunch more times with the pickaxe just
because
to show off.
He goes like Red apparently hurt his feelings. He was mad about it. And the whole time I'm like, okay, why isn't Tom yelling? Like,
yeah,
the mines probably have great echo. Why aren't you yelling like, "Hey, calm down here, I see him"? But then I think maybe he's traumatized. Maybe he's stunned to see Harry Warden back and alive and killing people.
No, I was so frustrated. I'm like, are you gonna like say anything or not gonna yell? No. And then his attempts to get out of this cage were like so lackluster.
Right.
Like he didn't really look like he was trying very hard.
Right. And so Harry Warden comes back, but so there's some question of whether or not it's really him and whether or not he's dead. And that's sort of the thread. That's sort of the thread for the rest of the movie for a bit. And it just gave this, like, everyone is sus at this point. I just, like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm like, is it the deputy? Like, is it Axel's deputy? Is it Axel? Is it the retired sheriff? Is it his partner? Like, it could be anyone. Is it Megan? I was just, like, going through the list of possibilities in my head. Like, there's nothing.
I was like, it's not the 90-year-old. There's no way a 90-year-old are doing this much damage.
Hey, I don't know. I was just like, maybe adrenaline in the moment you can cut a body in half.
I mean, that's a lot of adrenaline. He's killed like 50 people at this point.
Yeah, no, he is. And then at some point, Sarah has a conversation with Axel outside because he, like, essentially comes to her before she opens the grocery store. And I could not stand this conversation because it's basically like, you have a responsibility to continue a tradition that you had no stake in.
Oh, yeah.
That you are not equipped for, but you just have to do it. I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Do you hear yourself, woman? You sound insane. Also, why is everyone pretending that Axel did not look this man straight in his eye and drive away?
And also, what does the mine even have to do with her?
Well, she says the mine affects everything in the town, down to the grocers. I assume she's just talking about economics and, like, the trickle-down effect of people having income to stimulate their little town. I think that's the obvious implication that she's referring to. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it's a really compelling argument because obviously if another person takes over it, they may continue some kind of venture that continues to trickle down into the town. It's just wild that they do this to him.
It also just doesn't suit her character. Like, nothing about her feels like she would be driven by this interest.
Oh, yes. She's not an indignant character. She's an idiot that can't decide anything for herself. And
yeah. So it's like, why she has strong feelings on this in particular? It just stands out as, like, inconsistent.
Right. I actually would have believed if this was like that Buffy episode, the Christmas episode, where at the very end, Angel's like, I don't matter to anyone. I don't matter to the whole world. Blah, blah, blah. And then Buffy's like, but what about me? And then everyone's crying. It would have been so much more convincing if Sarah was like, you left me. You know, like,
yeah,
I also went through this and you left me. But she doesn't say it that way. What she says was, Axel was there for me. And you're like, of course he fucking was. He did everything he could to get your boyfriend out of the way. Are you stupid? Anyway, she was like, Axel was there for me and you weren't. And I was like, you're kind of touching on it, but I hate this conversation.
Tom says that Harry did it, and they're like, that's impossible, Harry's dead. But I want to know why everyone who sees this killer is so sure it's Harry when he's in full mining gear.
Agree.
It's Harry. It's a guy in fucking mining gear.
Yeah.
In a town full of miners.
Yes. That became a point that very quickly got lost in the plot for me. They ascribed this identity to Harry because they see him, he's got a pickaxe, and I'm like, every miner in this town has a pickaxe at some point in that outfit. It could be anybody. And I don't know why they all see him and they're like, it's Harry. But I don't know, it's the mythos of this figure that has, like, been a part of their town history for the last 10 years. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know why I'm so willing to just give these people the benefit of the doubt, but I am.
But I feel like the cops are aware of the concept of a copycat killer and might posit that as a possibility here.
Well,
especially because these two older men admit to having murdered Harry and covered it up.
Tom Atkins says that. At one point he's in the bar and he's like, it's a copycat. Harry Warden's dead.
Oh, okay.
He says it for a fact, but no one listens to him, and it's a throwaway comment. And it seems like one of those things where the retired cops are kind of like people. It's framed like he's speaking out of his ass. He used to be a cop and he thinks he knows something, but he knows nothing. And then it turns out that's not true because he knows for a fact that Harry Warden's dead.
Yeah. And they go to the place where he was buried and he's gone. And Axel's like, are you sure he was dead? And then is it Ben who's there with
Yeah, Ben is
them?
there with them.
And he's like, yeah, there was no way he could have lived. It's
Yeah,
like,
he had no pulse.
Ben, you do not sound so sure about that.
Yeah, no, he didn't sound sure. And Axel was like, God damn it. He immediately picked up on that. He immediately picked up on that and was like, oh, you idiots. You couldn't even kill him dead. What's wrong with you?
I loved Ben's delivery of the lack of confidence.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way.
Yeah. There's no way he's alive. It was really good. But then, okay, I think the next part is he's in the grocery store or not?
Oh, well, they take Tom back to like interrogate him.
Oh,
And
right.
he's like super aggro and Axel's like, she settled for you, right? And then Axel like punches him in the face and keeps on punching him. And he's like, lock him up. And he's like, deputy's like, we can't do that.
Yeah. And they're like, a lot of people saw him stuck in that cage. So he's like, God damn it. Okay. And then after this is when he's in the grocery store?
Oh, well, first, Ben's back at his home and he like answers the door with a shotgun or something.
That's right.
And then no one's there, and then he gets killed by Harry.
Okay, but this is another one of those deaths that I was like, this is not necessary. I'm not into this at all. The pickaxe is like on the ground upright, and
oh yeah,
Harry is pushing his face, and the camera is showing you like a pickaxe point eye view. Like, this is what he's looking at. This is as he's approaching death or whatever. And he seems like I don't know. He seems like he's maybe going to do something to fight back. Like, this is not going to be the end for him. And then it is. And you're like, wait, why? I got my hopes up. I thought he was going to do something. I kind of liked Ben. Like, it was annoying.
And that's every character in this movie. Like, they started to put up a fight, and you're like, all right. And then, and they're dead. Like, literally, like, Red put up a good fight. And
Yeah.
like, all right, let's go. And then he gets killed. And Irene put up a fight, and then she got killed.
Yeah.
So then they find Ben's body back at the place where Harry's body was supposed to be. And Axel's like, they're mocking us. Get Burke and Tom. They're our prime suspect.
Yeah.
And then we go to Sarah and Megan at the grocery store.
Right. Anyhow, the only reason I kept bringing this up is because the shot of Harry Warden standing at the far end of that aisle was so good. It was the only thing in this movie that I was like, that was a good choice to have that shot there. And of course, when they go look around the corner, he's gone. But it was just a very good shot. It was menacing, and you can see him far at the end. He's shadowed, but then the light is on his forehead, so he looks like a freaking what the hell, a Cyclops.
No. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So he attacks them, and Megan like fights him off with a broom, and they escape into a room and barricade it. And then he's like Jack Torrancing his way through the door.
Oh
with
my
the
gosh!
pickaxe.
Yeah. They call the police because they have a phone in that room.
Yeah. And then Megan's like struggling to unlock a window like from the outside with a key. And she gets it, and I'm getting real escape room vibes, and I'm like, let's go. And she gets it, and I'm like, oh, she got it, but she gets yanked out the window because Harry went around to the other side.
Also, these two women are screaming their plan across the room.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
true.
Stop yelling, because he obviously is going to hear you plotting to get out through the window, and he doesn't want you to escape. So whisper, what are you doing? And they don't. They yell, they scream, and of course he hears, oh, she's going out the window, I'll run around. And then
they're panicking because
no, I get it.
And it's probably quite loud with him pickaxing through the door, but yeah. So Megan gets yanked through the window, and then Sarah looks, and there's no one there. But then Harry comes back, and he like gets her in the arm, and then he just leaves.
Yeah, which makes no sense. She looks out the window, and her instinct is not to slam that window shut. I was screaming at her, close the fucking window. What are you doing? But she looks, and then she backs away. He slashes at her arm, and she gets cut. And she backs away, and she's crying, Lord help me, oh my God. And then, boom, Axel shows up.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because she did call the cops.
And this felt like the exact like beats of in Scream when Sydney's getting chased by Ghostface and then Billy just shows up like, I just got here.
That's exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. And I immediately started thinking, what if it was Axel and Tom? And they were both wearing those mining outfits, trading places. I immediately went to scream after I saw that scene. The way he came in the second the killer disappeared. Very funny.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple moments that just feel like directly taken from Scream.
Yeah. So then after this, Axel's like, stay behind me, which doesn't make sense. Because I'm like, wait, why are you pursuing when your wife is injured? Call for backup and get her to a safe place. No, he pursues. Very dumb.
Well, presumably they're going to rescue Megan, who is still alive, so that might be urgent.
I thought she knew Megan was dead. I thought she had seen him grab her and kill her. Whoops.
She saw him grab her, but I think she says at this point, like, we have to go. Megan's down.
Okay, got it.
And then they go, and then he's like, stay back, because they see her legs poking out, and she does not stay back, and she sees that.
Oh my gosh.
Megan is covered in like the most blood you could be covered in.
Yes.
And she's gutted, and it says, be mine forever.
And in the span of 5 minutes, this person has had the time to tear her heart out.
Yep.
And use her blood to write on the wall. I was just like, okay, go ahead, Speed Demon. I don't know how the heck you had that happen, but you did it. Yay for you. It was
he's good.
Yeah, it was he must be good. And then she's in the ambulance and Axel's sort of talking about who's been killed. And he's like, but why would he kill Megan? She had nothing to do with the mines. And then Sarah's like, well, maybe they're trying to kill people that are connected to you. And he's like, he looks at her like, oh shit, you must know that I'm connected to Megan because, she's my mistress or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm not blind. And I'm like, if you're not blind, why the hell are you letting him guilt trip you about Tom? Because they have several conversations in the course of the movie where he's like, Tom's the love of your life and I'm a nobody and blah, blah, blah. Well, who cares? Because you're fucking someone else anyway. Why are you doing this? Anyhow, we figure out he's doing this for very dumb reasons.
Yeah. Oh, so then we go back to Axel's house where like a nanny is babysitting his son, and then that nanny gets murdered by Harry.
Yeah.
And like stuffed into a dryer.
Yeah.
Which I think is a callback to the first movie. Someone was in a dryer in the laundromat. Remember that?
Oh.
And they're like, their skeleton comes tumbling out.
Oh, I did not remember that. Huh. I tried to think about things that happened in the first movie, but I couldn't remember them. And I kept confusing it with Black Christmas. And so I was like, something about Margot Kidder. But
yeah,
I couldn't place it.
They do have a very similar vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, so then we see a cop who's supposed to be sitting outside of the house, like keeping an eye on it. And then Burke, the retired cop, Tom Atkins' character, goes up to her and is like, he's in the house and he's got a gun. And I'm like, oh no, it's Tom Atkins. And I'm thinking like maybe they've orchestrated it so he's the killer. And I'm totally convinced it's him.
Really?
Yeah. Until he gets a pickaxe to the face. And then it took so long for that to resolve.
Well, it's funny because she's like, do you want to take point? He's like, nah, I'm retired. And then she goes in and he just stays behind and he's doing like fuck all.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
Then he gets killed because he stayed behind being a coward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't expect that from him. I thought like maybe he would be kind of a badass.
I did too.
Because I like Tom Atkins.
I did too. So you didn't watch this in 3D. So you didn't see his
No.
you didn't see his jaw flying at you in the screen?
Well, I saw the jaw flying at the camera, but not actually at my face.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't at my face, obviously, but I did the jaw flew right at the camera, and I was like, that is a weird effect. Again,
Yeah.
one of those things where I didn't know it was supposed to be in 3D, so I just totally thought it was weird. And that was it.
It's very like video gamey CG,
Yeah.
which is very jarring, like coming off of a real human head.
Yeah. And as the killer pulls the jaw off of him, he stumbles. And that fraction of a second of him stumbling is rendered in slow motion. I was like, why
Yeah.
did you do that? We could tell that was in slow motion. It was weird. But yeah.
So then Tom calls Sarah and he's like, I need to tell you something. Do you trust me? I have to show you something. And she's like, okay, yeah, I trust you. So she goes on a car ride with him. And then Axel shows up. Oh, she was at the hospital because she got attacked.
Right.
So then Axel shows up. He's like, where's my wife? And the receptionist is like, she went off with that nice tomboy.
That nobody knows, right? Because this is the mining town where his dad literally owned everything.
Well, I think she might say his whole name.
That
like,
nice Tom Hanniger boy.
Yeah. And then he has like this epic realization moment or something.
Because he
even
gets a
though
call.
He's suspecting him the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets a call, and I guess it will be revealed that he learned that Tom was in a mental hospital.
Yeah. Which is
And we're
very early 2000s coded, right?
Yeah, and as the audience, we're like, yeah, we know.
So what?
We know he was traumatized and he was taking psych meds. We kind of assumed he was in some institution at some point.
Right. But yeah, no, very 90s coded, a very, not 90s, early 2000s coded. If you've spent time in a mental institution for any reason, you're sus.
Yeah.
Like super fucked up.
It feels like this is a big revelation for Axel, but we're like, man, Tom's the only one we know it's not, because we've seen him in the room every time someone gets murdered, and he's like, and also he was almost murdered by him, and like, so I'm not really like getting this revelation here. I'm like, yeah, I know he's got mental issues.
Yeah, but also when you hear he's been in a mental hospital for the past 7 years, and you were the person who fucking left him, you would think that Axel would have this like come to Jesus moment where he's like, oh damn, I really fucked him up. And it's never that. It's never that. That's why I was like, how is this moment of them abandoning him to a serial killer not more prevalent in this movie? It was just unreal to me how they were totally ignoring their role in whatever happened to him in the subsequent years that followed. I was just baffled when he's like, he spent this time in the mental institution. Me immediately, if I was the person that drove that car, I'd be like, oh damn, we really did that, really affected him. I didn't realize it affected him that much. But no, Axel's like, aha, I knew it, he's definitely the killer.
Yeah, so he's like driving down the road chasing after them, and he calls Sarah up. He's like, he's not what you think he is.
Oh my gosh,
he's been in a mental hospital.
Yeah.
And then she's like, can you take me home? And he's like, no, I need to show you this. And so she crashes the car.
Oh my god, it was so dumb. And he's like, Axel's not what he seems. Did you know he has this house out in the woods that belongs to his dad? Which I sort of was hoping he was going to go somewhere else with that, but he didn't. And then she crashes the car, at which point I'm like, I don't really know if that was the right decision, because I feel like you are caught between two people telling you the same thing, pointing the finger at each other.
Boy, massive tree branch impales the car, miraculously not impaling either one of them. So it was very much not the right call, because she could have very easily been killed Final Destination style.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, you're an idiot. Why would you do that? But whatever.
People love crashing cars on purpose in horror movies. Man, try to avoid that, because you're very likely to get yourself killed.
Yeah.
It's probably better just to bail out.
Yeah,
Just
no.
open the door and roll.
Exactly, for sure. But at this point, you're given this very annoying conundrum that stays with you for the rest of the movie. Who is she supposed to believe? Man number 1 who objectifies her, or man number 2 who objectifies her? Like, what the fuck? I was so annoyed by that. Like, these men are both like, I'm taking you out of town because this is the best thing for you. And then the other guy's like, you're my wife and you live in my house and I have sex with you. And I was like, this is absurd. It's 2009, people. Break free. What's the problem?
Yeah, like, you don't have to side with one of these people who neither one of them are entirely trustworthy. Especially, so she finds a bunch of hearts and then she suspects Axel and she finds the picture of Tom and herself in a box. So she's like, oh, Axel did that. So they all end up in the mine and she ends up with a gun. And at this point, she's like, oh, I have to choose one of these.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fucking leave. You have a gun. They don't have anything.
Yeah.
And so they play this game, and it's like the classic when you have like a doppelganger, like, no, it's him.
Yeah.
No, it's
shoot him. He's not the real one. Oh, it's that episode of SpongeBob when the robot crabs. And he's like,
yeah.
And he's like, ravioli, give me the formula.
Yes, it is exactly like that. But then Tom's like, right behind you, it's Harry. It's Harry, shoot him, it's Harry. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. But not before Axel plays, what's his name? King Solomon. And essentially is like, split the baby, shoot us both. And
oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, God damn it. He's not the one. Like, immediately when he does that, that's like the ultimate virtue signaling. When you're like, just shoot us both. Because if you only shoot me, you'll be in here with a killer. And then in that moment, you're immediately, this is the movie cue that he is innocent. So then you're like, oh, God damn it. I kind of didn't like you.
Well, yeah, they've been laying it on so thick the whole time that Axel's just a piece of shit.
He is such a piece of shit. Yes.
Like, does he have any redeeming qualities? Like, he's only done negative things and said negative things, essentially.
Yeah, his redeeming qualities come at the end when he says 2 things. The first, he says, I know I've been horrible to you, but please get out of the car.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other thing he says is here, when he says, if you only shoot me, you'll be in here with a killer. So just shoot us both. And that's it. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's supposed to be his redemption arc because...
That's also just stupid.
What, shoot us both? I'm like, how can you shoot one when you know you're planning to shoot the other one, and the other one can easily, like, avoid that? I'm not sure you can shoot 2 people at once. You just can't.
Well, you're the only one with a gun, so maybe just don't shoot either of them. But also, like, if you shoot both of them, then you're going to have a murder on your conscience.
That's true.
And so he's basically just like, yeah, shoot me. Have your husband's murder on your conscience, even though I'm completely innocent and you would just be murdering the father of your child.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
That's the big heroic sacrifice, right?
I mean,
it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, yes, if you think about it that way, it's dumb. But that also sort of highlights the situation she's in.
And Tom's like, don't shoot either of us.
Yeah.
He's like, no one needs to get shot, actually. And I'm like, yeah, he's right, actually.
Yeah.
Because you know you're not the killer and you're the only one with a gun.
Right. And in fact, the easier option for her, I don't know, maybe it's easy emotionally, but I probably would have been like, listen, I'm leaving and you guys work this shit out.
Yeah, do that.
I've got the gun and I'm walking out of here. I am going to be fine. I'm going home to my kid. You guys work this shit out. Which would have been a really funny ending too, considering how much these men have just been fighting over her.
Yeah.
But no, then we have the very sad hallucinations coming from Tom.
Yeah. And then, so she's like, so there was Harry was never back. And Axel's like, no, he's here with us now. Isn't that right, Harry? And then Jensen Ackles' face changes like, that's right.
I know.
So apparently he's actually possessed by Harry Warden.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is he possessed? And Axel knows. And at that point I was like, maybe they are both in on it.
Why does Axel know?
Yeah. 100%. But I wonder if that was more of like the mental health stigma. Like, you've now taken on this personality and that's why you were institutionalized. You know, like maybe it's that kind of like, you know, like really just scattered understanding of how trauma works.
Okay, but Jensen is 100% playing it like he's possessed by Harry Warden.
I know. It was great.
Because he does that face change in an instant.
He does.
It's like, yeah, I'm Harry Warden.
Yeah, he does. He's like, you know it. He's here with us. And that is like confirmation that he's the one who did it. And then we get the flashbacks, which I was kind of sad about. But we get the flashbacks of all the scenes we saw, and it shows Tom is the one who did all of the things that we were wondering how they happened throughout the movie. And all the times we thought it was Harry, it was just Tom.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's what you get for not letting him sell the mines and leave. Because you guys guilt tripped him into staying. You got all up in his head like, you're going to ruin the town. If you had just been like, sign the papers and leave, sir, he would have done that. And nobody would have been triggered. And his trauma would not have resurfaced and played out in this horrible way. You guys, you did it. Let the man go.
True.
And then we also get their fight, right? Which she didn't have to be there for. And she basically wasn't there for, because why the hell didn't she shoot him? Because at that moment, it's like, okay, now you know, you 100% he is on top of your husband, attacking him. Fucking shoot him. But then it's like, oh, is this supposed to be like she still loves him? Because it's weak and it wasn't well established.
I took it as she wasn't confident she could make the shot without hitting Axel.
Okay. All right. I could see that. Because I was like, you're standing here the whole time and we forget that you're here. We get to watch this whole scuffle between the two of them, forgetting you're standing there with a gun pointed at them. Because you were negligible. Yeah. So she sucks. And then what?
So they have the fist fight. And at one point they're like, one's going to shovel it, one's going to pickaxe. And then I think the shovel gets like disarmed. And then they're like scuffling with the pickaxe. And then someone gets impaled. We're not sure at first who it is, but then we learn pretty quick it was Axel, and he falls down.
And you think he's dead. And for some reason, he's not dead. And I don't know how this works, because if you get impaled with a pickaxe, I'm pretty sure you'd be dead. But he's not dead.
Well, it missed all his organs. And then she shoots Tom. And it like goes through like the side of his torso, and then it goes behind to like propane tanks or something.
Yeah. And it causes
or maybe oxygen tanks.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what kind of gases they have down in the mines, but some kind of gas. And
well, they probably have oxygen, right, for breathing with those respirators, maybe.
Potentially.
Anyway, it blows up.
Yeah, it blows up, and he gets thrown across the room, and you think he did, but oh lord. And then the next thing we see is rescue workers.
Yep. And then they're like, we found one. And then Harry's there. I mean, Tom is there. Same difference.
Yeah.
And he impales him and then steals his fireman outfit and escapes.
But we don't know that yet. We just see him impale that guy and we're like, oh no, is he not going to get rescued? So then we see the other two get rescued. And I'm thinking, okay, I guess I don't know what happened to him. But we see the other two get rescued. And I wrote down, you know what? Tom was done dirty. Facts. That's it. And so I'm thinking the movie's over. And then in the end, we see him, Simon Sosa, his way off the scene.
Yeah, and he takes off the gas mask right in plain view of like all the people cleaning up the crime scene. Like he doesn't wait to leave.
Yeah. I said, for some reason I said Simon Sosa. I meant Kaiser Sosa.
Oh,
like he Kaiser Sosa his way off the scene.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. I didn't catch that you said the wrong name.
But yeah, he does. He takes off his gas mask, and it's no big thing.
And also, this is the ending to The Guest.
I haven't seen The Guest, but it's fine.
I haven't
wait,
seen
wait.
The Guest?
No,
I
no,
thought you...
Rewind. I have
I
seen
know
The
I
Guest.
showed you The Guest.
I have seen The Guest. I haven't seen, there's another one that's similar to The Guest. Because The Guest is the one that it winds up at the high school prom, and it's got all that cool 80s music. So yes, I've seen that.
I think it's a Halloween party.
Okay.
But yeah.
I have seen The Guest. There's another one that's similar to that I haven't seen. But I remember The Guest actually really, really well now that I think about it.
Then we see Sarah and Axel, and like their marriage is saved now for some reason, even though they should probably just get divorced.
Yeah.
Their relationship sucks.
Yeah, it really does. Like, I don't even understand. It was just a lot of nonsense. And you know what? I think I enjoyed talking about it more than I enjoyed watching it. Which makes me feel like I want to give a higher rating than I thought when I stopped watching it. Which is, I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Like, I don't know if that's a real change in my rating, or if that's just me in the moment, like getting caught up in the flurry of newspapers being thrown at my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that honestly, for the most part, the gore was like, I guess if you're looking technically, it was good. It was plentiful, and it was gratuitous. So yeah, sure, great gore. But I just felt like there was something, like each of those kills, I think here's where it comes. Each of those kills was just unrealistic, just enough that stacking unrealistic kills one after the other made me kind of like meh about it. Even though there was plenty of gore, even though there was plenty of like shock value, it was rendered in such an unrealistic way and it was done each time that I think by the end I felt like this is kind of like hackneyed or whatever.
Yeah, Saw 3D was very much the same way.
Oh, really?
I really like all the other Saw movies, but Saw 3D is like, this is so much dumb CG shit flying at the screen, and it really feels like, Saw was at just the right level of schlock, and then you schlocked it up a bit more, and now I don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's the only one one of the only ones I really didn't like of that.
Yeah. Well, Burke is the thing that comes to mind, right? Like if you pickaxe somebody up under the chin and they're clearly dead, the next thing to happen is that they fall to the ground. I don't know if we need to see the killer struggle with pulling the pickaxe away horizontally so that the jaw gets ripped off and we see the jaw come flying at the screen. I just felt like that was too unrealistic and over the top at the same time. It kind of didn't really decide what it wanted to do, right? Does it want to be over the top, or does it want to be unrealistic but still interesting? And it didn't really find a happy medium, I think, because most of it was just unrealistic and over the top.
Yeah.
This person was really, really into using a pickaxe to kill people. The producers.
Yeah, well, that is kind of the whole crux of the movie they're remaking, right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But yeah, everyone just gets a pickaxe to the head, basically.
Yes.
Either the bottom of the jaw or the top of the head, or there was that one shovel kill with the head getting split in half, but mostly just a lot of pickaxe impaling.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I was missing that was in the first movie is there's a scene where they're in that room that has all the mining suits hanging, and Sarah goes through, and for some reason they all just start falling, which doesn't make any sense except it frightens her. And so we're supposed to be startled by the fact that she's startled, which I was sort of like, no, she just looks like a nervous ninny right now. I don't get why you're sure, whatever, it's the moment and she's startled. But all of the squeaks and squeals as these suits are falling down, I thought was just like, cut this scene. Just fucking cut this scene.
Also, that was from their original movie too.
Right, but that's what I was saying. In the original, stuff happened. Like a guy was dead and he fell down and like actually scared her. But in this nothing. It was just costumes falling. So that's why I was like, just cut this scene. If you're not going to commit and have someone dead fall from the rafters or whatever, then cut the scene. Like, this is dumb. And I don't know. I just felt like she wasn't a compelling scream queen or whatever. Like she did not click for me at all.
Yeah, she didn't really have much of a point other than being stuck between two men,
Yeah.
which it wasn't a compelling love triangle at all, because it's like, this guy you haven't talked to in 10 years shouldn't be this relevant.
Right.
And is he relevant just because your husband sucked?
No, I think he's relevant. He's relevant because the story says he's relevant. And the problem with that is the beginning did zero to establish, except to say they're in love. That was it. Like, they just told us they were in love. They did nothing to actually demonstrate it, except they posed for a picture, and then we saw them like posing for a nice picture. Okay, great. But you didn't like, that's what I said. That's what I mean when I said earlier that there was no character development. We just jumped right into the killing, which is fine because it could be like just a random slasher movie. But then they're also asking us to care about these characters. And then I'm just like, no, I refuse, because you've given me no reason to care about these characters. But yeah, they told us they're in love. And so 10 years later, she's still conflicted because we were told they're in love. But we can't believe it because we were never shown.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's a lot like the Fog remake, where they
Yes.
just kind of like repeat the same relationships from the original movie, but without like laying a foundation of consistent characterization.
Yeah. And I think that character had come back to the town. The girl had come back to the town after leaving.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was just like,
it was like the same story.
the exact same story. Like, you left.
And the forced love triangle and
Right.
all that. Yeah.
It was dumb. So, I don't know. In some ways, I think that those early 2000s movies really suffered from that stereotype of having to have a lead actress, a lead male, and they're always involved romantically. Like, I think movies just suffer from that, because then that becomes the crux of the movie. And if that is the crux of the movie, you have to establish it well. Like, you don't have to be the fucking Notebook, but you have to establish it better than it was here.
Yeah. So this is the second CW verse remake
Right?
we've watched. I think we should add House of Wax to the list.
Well, I've never seen the original, so I don't know if that...
I haven't either.
Oh, okay.
But Jared Padalecki's in that one. He's also in the Friday the 13th reboot.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to watch all of that. I haven't seen the original House of Wax, so I'm willing to watch that too. And the thought that I had earlier was basically, what if there was a horror movie where the killer was taken out early and then other things happened because of that? Like, the end of the movie wasn't culminating in killing this person, it was, or defeating the killer. It was other things, and there were other like elements to it. I don't know what those elements would be. It was just an idea.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we've mostly gone over plot and stuff. I don't really have any comments about I mean, I wasn't that impressed with the writing, and the actors were fine. And then, like I said, that shot when he's in the grocery store was pretty good. But aside from that, that was all I had for this. And as far as being a side project for Jensen Ackles, sounds like it was fun. But yeah, I'm ready to rate.
All right, what you gonna give it?
I'm giving it a 2. I feel bad, but I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. 1 for Jensen Ackles and 1 for Tom Atkins.
Okay.
Those are the two things that kept me through this movie.
They had 2 stars, so you gave it 2 stars.
Yes.
True. Alrighty. All right, so we are digging into our pouch of destiny. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
That's what we settled on.
What are we watching next week?
Pumpkinhead 2 Blood
No,
Wings
shut
from
up.
1994. Hell yeah.
Here we go. Wait, hold on. Back up. What was the one we watched?
We watched Pumpkinhead Ashes to Ashes, which is number 3.
Okay. So we watched 3 and now we're going back to 2. Okay.
Yes. So now we get to see the very important events, which I'm sure played a part in 3. Not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I remember the actor whose name I can't remember not being in it, but anyway.
Yeah,
Lance
everything in the
Hendrickson.
third movie was like, hey, the second movie didn't happen. We're making a sequel to the first one.
All right. Well, we'll watch the side pocket universe of Pumpkinhead, I guess.
Oh yeah, you mentioned the video game when we did Pumpkinhead 3, so I looked into it. And it's from like 1993, and it's so weird. It's just like this maze, and you like fire things from your body, I guess. Like it's first person. It reminds me of that maze screensaver. It's gotten like it's got this kind of cool intro that ties it into Pumpkinhead, and then the gameplay is like just a weird, creepy maze. And I'm like, how is this Pumpkinhead? I didn't even ever see Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
I remember looking that up, and I remember the game being just like in the universe and maybe some storyline, but not really much. What platform was it for?
I was playing it for MS-DOS.
Okay.
I don't know if it was on anything else.
I was gonna say, well, if it was made in 1993, the graphic situation was, kind of limited, and so maybe they couldn't render Pumpkinhead in his full glory.
Well, I mean, that's the same year as like Doom. So they could have done something, but I don't even remember seeing like monsters. It was very limited.
Huh. All right. Well, thanks for taking one for the team, because now we know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds awesome. Okay. Until next time.
Until next time.
This podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike 4.0 International License. For additional information and other media content, visit theferalthread.com. Thanks for listening. Until next week.